I guess I ought to begin by saying Happy New Year, not only to my guests and my videographer, but to the entire community. And here's hoping that this is a wonderful, healthy, and prosperous year for everybody. And I'm glad I used the word prosperous because my guest today is someone who's engaged in prosperity and development and making sure that the community lives forward, moves forward. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Abersham, and I have with me today Mr. Josh Rogers, who's the executive director, CEO.
Either one works.
Anything
I'm not particular. You got it.
As long as it's not a bad word.
Yeah, you got it. I've been called much worse.
Yeah, I have too. Of Newtown, Macon, which is a phenomenal organization in our community that was conceptualized and created to promote growth in Macon, and they have done a phenomenal job, which we will talk about. But first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Waycross, Georgia, and both my parents were public school teachers.
Wow.
And I came to Macon to go to Mercer. Mercer was definitely the first place I fell in love with in Macon, but downtown was close behind. And after finishing at Mercer, I knew I wanted to do what I could to revitalize downtown. And amazingly, it's been 16 years now, and
wow.
Yeah, I know. But I've gotten to continue to work on revitalizing downtown pretty much that whole time, from working at the College Hill Corridor Commission, Historic Macon, and in the city of Macon, and now Newtown. So I've had a lot of fun working in public and private organizations around downtown revitalization.
Man, it's almost a miraculous transformation.
Yeah.
I'm old enough. I ain't that old. Let's not get carried away. But I remember when Macy's and J.C. Penney's and Sears and downtown was just bustling. Mm-hmm. But after the Macon Mall came in, it kind of died. But it's my understanding that it's bustling now.
Yeah, it's different. It will never come back and be exactly what it was before. And honestly, retail's changed so much with the internet now. The malls are suffering. So there's this constant change. But what's fueling downtown's comeback now is really residential development. We just cannot build lofts fast enough. So all these vacant buildings that have been vacant for 40 years since the mall opened.
I should have bought one when they were cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been one of the things I love about this job is it is nothing short of miraculous. But what that means is that our job changes all the time because the challenges and opportunities are different. But even when I started at Newtown 4 years ago, we'd have a stack of pro formas this deep and say, here's a building for sale that you can make money on. Here's a building, and we were short on people. Now I get 2 calls a week from people who say, things look pretty good downtown. I'd like to get in the game now. Right. And now it's not possible. I'm not aware of a single building that's available at a compelling price right now that you can make money on. It's changed. We have a lot of developers interested now. They know what they're doing, and as soon as the building gets finished, it leases. So, that's the kind of environment every real estate investor wants to be part of, and that's made it competitive.
Is the model kind of like with Travis Jeans? Is that the model? Because
yeah, like on retail?
I know you had a lot of two and 3 story buildings.
Yeah.
And she has, like a...
Yeah, no, that is. And I think it's one of the things that's made Macon's revitalization unique is that it's small scale. It's almost all local people. These are not developers coming from out of town. So I think the quality of the projects is really high because of that. The tenants that go to the storefront, they tend to be locally owned. Some of them are owner occupied. Somebody puts a couple lofts upstairs. One of my favorite investors is Dot Ridley. She's had Dot's Forget-Me-Nots down there for 15 years. Right. And she just put in 2 lofts upstairs.
At the same location?
Oh, yeah. Wow. She redid her storefront. It's the prettiest. It's on Cherry 623 Cherry. Yeah, but she's got the nicest looking boutique in downtown Macon right now. So she completely redid the storefront. She put in 2 luxury lofts upstairs. She was rented in 2 weeks.
Wow.
But that's a lot of what you're seeing is local people investing in their buildings. And I mean, it's important in a number of reasons, but one is to build wealth for the people who are here and not have it all leave in our community.
Well, talk about, when you got people, then you got activity.
Yeah.
And then, so talk about, like what's going on downtown as it relates to why people are moving in lofts downtown and how they are assisting downtown to thrive and survive.
Yeah, so 80% of the people who live in lofts are millennials. It's not going to surprise anybody, right? Yeah. So, I mean, what you're thinking in your head, but they're probably more racially diverse than people realize because most of them are moving here from outside of the region. So it's not like people are moving to downtown from the suburbs. They're moving from all over the country to take jobs as nurses, physicians, Geico, retail, even public school teachers and base employees. So, but the people who move in, they shop in the storefronts, and so that means more storefronts open.
And they go to the clubs.
Exactly. Yeah, we're doing really well with restaurants, and we've got 50 restaurants in walking distance, and
downtown.
15 bars and 13 music venues. That's what's fueling it. Millennials want to live in a walkable neighborhood,
right?
And so that's it for them. Downtown is the ultimate walkable neighborhood. They've got entertainment, they've got great dining, they've got music, and they've even got some of these cool new businesses that opened up, like the escape room and the retro arcade.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some of the quirky stuff. So it's a fun place to live.
What is that right on the corner of 3rd and Cherry? That used to be
a comic book store, and that one did move from the suburbs. So it's video games, gaming collectibles, comic books, and he does a lot of events too. But they've been very successful. And they have a huge online sales component, which I would say now with retail specifically, most of the clients we're working with, they have a storefront, but a lot of their business is online sales.
In some instances, if people, I don't know what's the availability of space, but I know that you're interested in attracting new businesses downtown from a assistance perspective with loans and helping to identify locations and what have you. Talk a little bit about that, because being the publisher of the Black Pages, I'm always interested, and I'm glad you mentioned the word diversity, because I think that's what's going to move the community forward.
I absolutely agree, and everybody needs to share in the benefits of downtown's revitalization. So our website's newtownmacon.com. Our phone number is 722-9909. We're free, so if people want to just call us up and meet with us, we'll help them go through their business plan, critique it. But one of the big differences between us and some of the other services that do that is we can also offer access to capital. So for minority developers, we can do 100% financing on real estate projects. We also can do small business loans. We've done as small as $5,000, as large as $2 million in loans. And so we can offer the coaching, the assistance, we can help you find the location, and then we can actually provide the financing to make it possible to get in business.
Well, that's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm sure that the community would be very, very interested in that. Now, what do you think, really, talk a little bit about the history of Newtown, because, for it to result in what is happening, for it to be transformed miraculously from what was, it's almost like a concept becoming a reality. Yeah. So talk about how it kind of started. And
I've heard some of our founders call it the overnight success 20 years in the making. Because Newtown got started in 1996.
Wow.
So sure, you look downtown today and it's amazing, but it's taken 20 years to get to this point. So when Peyton Anderson passed away in 1988, he left most of his money in trust to benefit Macon, and he appointed Juanita Jordan to set up this foundation. And he told her that he wanted her to give his money to good doers, not a bunch of do-gooders. And that's about it.
Yep.
And so she started the foundation, and the initial trustees, they really decided that they would dig in on saving downtown Macon. That was going to be their signature project. And so Ms. Jordan took a group of community leaders across the country to see downtowns that were doing better, and she said, we need a nonprofit, a private nonprofit that can drive this. And that's what led to Newtown Macon being formed. Kirby Godsey became the first board chair. And there's this piece of... you maybe see this having been here when downtown was good and bad and coming back.
Yeah.
But he said that by the early 90s, the entire community was stagnated by a dying downtown. It just was an albatross around everybody's neck who just thought, well, this is as good as all of Macon can be. And I think what Newtown's done is prove the opposite. That if downtown makes a comeback, everybody feels bolder about their businesses, their homes, and their community.
Right. What are some of the significant contributing entities that have made downtown successful, like Mercer and other entities and organizations?
Mercer's really a critical one. So I said Peyton Anderson was really the inspiration, but Dr. Godsey was president of Mercer at the time. For the 20 years that Newtown's been around, 19 of those years, the president of Mercer has been chair of our board. So we've just been tied really closely to Mercer. Mercer's consistently, President Underwood calls it enlightened self-interest, but he's believed that what's good for Macon is what's good for Mercer and vice versa. And it makes it easier to attract and retain staff, students, and faculty when you have a thriving downtown. So Mercer's really been critical. They have kept at it with us this whole time.
Yeah, I talked with Emily the other day, and I thought it was kind of a cute concept. And, you know, when about this be a regular initiative. You know, talk about what you think, although I'm going to interview Emily again. But talk about what that means and how the community can participate in downtown and why they should participate.
I think we're at a point now where tourists from out of town and people moving here from other places, they're more likely to come downtown than some people who've been here 10, 15 years. And so it's important.
Let me interrupt you. Talk, you know, because, look, and I really think it needs to be addressed. People think it's not safe. And I know that's the biggest farce this side of the Mississippi.
I know. So the thing is, if people would give us a chance, they won't come away with that perception now. If people will come downtown and check it out, they'll be blown away. And I don't think we'll have any more conversations about it. So the obstacle, I think, is just that initial visit. It's just getting people to come down the first time. This Christmas light show that Brian Nichols did this year, it brought a lot of people down who hadn't been down in a long time. But gosh, if you're not coming downtown now, you're missing out on the best dining in the whole region. You're missing out on the best music in the whole region. You're missing out on the best entertainment venues. So people got to give it a shot, and I think they're going to automatically become a regular if they just give it a chance. I think there's some work on our part, too, to make sure that we're offering diverse enough businesses, events, and venues that draw those people, that give them a chance to come in. We partnered with Horace Braswell and Marlin to do an encore event at the Capitol Theater. I think that was important. But we definitely got to diversify programming too, so there's something for everybody to get them down here that first time. Right.
Well, that's very, very good. I stopped at a place and talk about not only the comic book store. But I was at the Cherry Blossom Parade, and I had to, you know, go to the bathroom, just to be honest with you. And I think it was on Poplar Street, and it was kind of like a game room where you have to be released, or you have to, some kind of maze or
the escape room, situation
room. And so, you know, that's just one. Talk about the other kind of unique businesses that are downtown.
The escape room is one of my favorites, and we did their loan to get them started, and they've been so successful. They paid us off in a couple of months. They're incredibly successful. It's a group of residents who are currently in Navicent, and they moonlight this business. So on their spare time, they started their own business. But you buy a ticket. They lock you in a room with a group of people, and you have to solve puzzles to get out in 60 minutes. A lot of people do it for team building for corporations, but a lot of people just do it on Friday, Saturday, something fun to do. That's on Poplar Street, the Situation Room. It's been really successful, but really unusual. And those are the types of businesses.
I didn't understand it. And then, you know, the guy kind of explained it to me, said, this is the escape room. I said, escape room. So, and I plan to go back.
It's really fun. We did it with our staff. We did not escape. Oh, man, it's really tough. But it makes you want to come back and try again and again and again. But then that's a group of local people, and another one is Reboot, the Retro Arcade. They've got 50 vintage arcade terminals that go from the early 70s all the way through the 90s.
Now, when you say arcade terminal, you mean the old games?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pac-Man and
you got
all
it.
that?
They've got Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Centipede. They've got lots of pinball machines. And it's really fun. You can go down there and hang out for a little while, and the plays are a quarter. So, it's like walking back in time almost. It's really inexpensive, fun night out.
Well, it seems to me that it's really family friendly. I'm trying to think of this place I went to get brisket. It's on
Piedmont Brewing Kitchen.
Piedmont Brewery. How'd you know?
Yeah, because I got kids, so I'm always looking for family friendly.
Well, I think it's important for you to talk a little bit about being family friendly. So, I mean, you don't have to. I think the important matter is that you don't have to be going to a club.
No, that really was the first thing that came back, though. 10 years ago, nightlife was the first thing that started. Clicking in downtown. But now you're right. It's very diverse. It's very family friendly. There's something for everybody downtown. And honestly, you don't have to know a lot ahead of time. Like you were talking about, if you just walk around, these business owners are going to stop and talk to you, tell you what they're doing, and you'll find something you really enjoy. I think that goes back to local people again. 86% of the people we've loaned money to are women, 68% are minorities. These are... they're Maconites who have a vision for their own business that's coming to life.
That's outstanding. Well, is there a way to kind of get a report on, these businesses that you all have helped? Is that kind of like an annual report?
Yeah, we do an annual report. It's on our website.
To be familiar with, all of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, I tell you, and this is maybe one of the best ways to get the information out and the events that we do with the Black Pages. No nonprofit invests in enough marketing and PR. It's always the toughest thing to put money into. And so the one thing I'd say, if any of your viewers want, I will speak to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So if you have a civic group, a church group,
and I'll run an ad for anyone in the way. Oh, yeah.
You got it. Absolutely. But if there's an opportunity for me to come speak, that's normally the best way, person to person. And doing events with you has been incredibly helpful for us. But now, I think we can do more good things than people know about, and so they need to know to call Newtown.
Now, what would you like? What would be your suggestion, both to individuals in the community, churches, organizations, and individuals, fraternities, sororities, and what have you? What would be your suggestion? What would you like to see come from them? Because you've got this initiative, Main Street Macon. What do you want to? What would you like to see from the community as it relates to downtown?
The first thing is show up, like we talked about earlier. If you haven't been downtown recently, you don't know downtown. If you haven't been downtown in the past year, it looks totally different than what you thought or what you think. So come downtown. Second of all, if you've got an idea for a business, or if you have an existing business that needs space, or you're thinking about moving, the momentum's downtown. Come talk to us. Let us help you find a space. And if you have an existing business downtown and you need some help and some coaching, we're here and we're free. Just give us a call, drop in, let us schedule a meeting and see what we can do.
Now, can you make a loan to an existing business?
Absolutely.
For expansion? Inventory or things of that nature?
We can do working capital. We can do lines of credit. We can do amortized loans. We can do equipment. We can do almost anything. We made a loan not long ago to start a mobile beer canning business. So this is a guy who goes to the breweries and cans the beer for them, and then he leaves with the equipment. And he's the first one in the state of Georgia. So
mobile, wow.
And we've been able to do that a lot of times, and we've been a good complement to traditional lending. Sometimes we get people who the banks are always the cheapest way to borrow money, and so if you come to see us and the bank's going to be your best bet, we will help you get to a good bank and get a loan. But sometimes people are not eligible for bank financing, and that's where we can be an important partner.
There are a couple of understandable provisions wherein if one is denied by the bank, he or she may be strongly considered by your loan program?
Yeah, and a lot of the local banks will refer people to us, and sometimes we both do loans. Sometimes the bank says, yeah, we can do it. We could do this up to 60%, but the person needs tens of thousands of dollars they don't have. Well, then Newtown sometimes steps in to squeeze it down where they only have to come up with 10% or 5%. Or
let me tell you what I want to see.
Okay.
And I've submitted one proposal, but I'm going to revisit it. I want to attract more minority retailers downtown. Long time ago, and you don't know this, you're too young, you probably were not born then, but which is MLK, but like on Broadway, where the Douglas Theater is. There were all kinds of businesses right there in that corridor, and a lot of them were African Americans. But I do want to emphasize that the interest of the community is diversity.
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to put that initiative together again and try to see if we can't do that. But I am very, very, very excited about downtown and what it is doing and what it has meant. Is there anything else on the horizon that you want to talk about?
There are lots of things going on. We're pretty much working every day on new concepts. Just across the street from us on Poplar Street, tomorrow our board of directors will consider a loan of $880,000. That's a $4.5 million project. It'd be 11 lofts and 4 storefronts. And I can't disclose who the tenants are, but all 4 storefronts are already leased.
They're already leased.
Yeah, and it's not even under construction yet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty typical.
But I did hear, I can't forget, but I did hear about this vegan restaurant that's
Eden's is open. It is open. They started downtown, they moved out during the recession, and they are back. And they have a beautiful storefront at
now where are they?
It's at 524 Mulberry Street.
What is that close to?
It's the old Janine's. It used to be Janine's.
Oh, wow.
So it's between the American Federal Building and Oldham's Optician.
Wow.
And, so on top of that, there's a new loft going in. Next door to that, there are 12 lofts being built on the upper floors, and Harp and Bowl and Oldham's on the ground floor.
Now, you're telling me that there is still a market. I think you said somewhere there's
590
lofts downtown.
Yeah, and we've set a goal.
Growing.
Yeah, we've set a goal to get to 1,000 by 2022. So we think we can nearly double.
Is the space there for 1,000?
Yeah.
Another 500?
Yeah. We've got the room, and I think you're just gonna. I think the world's changed and people's priorities, and so not it's the 80% millennials right now. It's going to be more and more baby boomers, though. As baby boomers retire.
I think we ought to give Bob Lewis a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's not a millennial, but it's my understanding that he's moved downtown.
He has. More and more people are thinking that. The kids are off. The kids are out of the house. They don't need a big suburban house anymore. You can give up the yard work. You can walk everywhere you need to be. Close to healthcare, close to education.
Restaurants, entertainment.
I'm telling you, it's that's an unbeatable package, and more people are going to be moving downtown of all ages.
Well, that's so outstanding. Well, what we want to do is we want to encourage everybody to come downtown. Now, let me ask you. A lot of people complain about the parking. What about parking downtown? Because I believe, you've got some parking decks that are not used,
You're right. Yeah, that's it. If you take an inventory of all the parking that's available, it's more than sufficient. The problem is it's in decks and people don't want to use it. So what's going to happen in spring of this year is there are going to be parking meters on the street.
They're going to start charging.
Absolutely. And
so either way you park, you got to pay.
Exactly. And I think what that's going to do is the people who come downtown to work, they need to be in a deck. If you're going to be downtown for 8 hours at a time, not moving your car, you need to be in a deck. If you're coming down to shop or eat, you need to be on the street, get the most convenient space. So I think parking meters are going to help us achieve that. And then longer term, the county's been a wonderful partner looking at projects like the Hyatt Place on Poplar Street. The county's actually going to own the deck that's attached to that hotel. Hotel's going to pay for it, but the county's going to own it.
Hyatt Place?
That's going to provide...
is that a new... Tell me about the Hyatt Place.
Yeah, that's a project that was announced a few months ago, a 135-room upscale hotel on Poplar Street. but it'll be attached to a 400 space parking garage that the county will get to own and keep. And
Wow.
so as we're going forward, we're looking at those public-private partnerships where the new taxes on new developments could pay to build parking garages.
Wow. Well, what's happening to the old Crown Plaza? I know they moved the furniture out of there.
Yeah,
and I
and-
know that there's a need for more hotels.
No question. That's going to be our
Downtown.
next bump. As big as lofts have been in getting us to this point, our next bump's going to be tourism. We're ready for it. There are enough places to eat and drink and dance and see shows.
Got to get people in.
Absolutely. And they need to have a place to stay that's
Right.
walking distance.
Right.
So the old Crown Plaza, Ramada Plaza, it's owned by a hotel investor who's a Canadian citizen, but he has started some limited work on it. And he's hopeful to get a loan and completely rehab that. I think it's going to be a little further behind than the Hyatt Place, but hopefully that'll come online too.
Yeah, that would be absolutely wonderful because a lot of people don't realize, and you could talk about it a minute, but we can't just depend on, locals to make downtown thrive. We need conventions and things of that nature.
Yeah, you mentioned retail. Retail's so tough these days, but people who tourists still shop at retail.
That's right.
And so if we want to have, if we want to see the storefronts, not just entertainment, if we want to see retail, we need tourists. And having a hotel is what's going to make that difference.
Well, then we would suggest to the community that if you got a connection for a family reunion or a convention, I understand they changed the name from the Visitors and Convention
right.
Bureau
I'm still
to
getting
Visit
used to it.
Macon.
Visit Macon, yeah.
Very quickly, give information how you can be contacted again. Before you do that, this is a call to action.
A call to
I'm
action.
your host, Alex Haversham. I'm interviewing Mr. Josh Rogers. We got so wrapped up in downtown until we just wanted to let you know who we are and what we're talking about. But give contact information.
Sure. My email address is josh@newtownmacon.com. Our website's newtownmacon.com, and our phone number is 478-722-9909. Me and my staff are happy to talk, and we look forward to hearing from some people. I hope there's some people out there watching who want to develop some real estate or want to start a business.
Need a loan,
You got it.
want to come downtown to make sure that you're telling the truth.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Hold me accountable,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or want me to come speak to their groups so they can learn more.
Well, I'm down there every day, and I know that you are. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
Alex Haversham, publisher of the Black Pages, and Josh Rogers, CEO of Newtown Macon, says, have a great day, and we'll see you downtown.
www.maconblackpages.com.
Hi, this is Alex Haversham, publisher of the Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages. Our motto is, you cannot afford not to advertise. So if you're interested in promoting your business and generating more revenue and making more people familiar with what you're doing, then it behooves you to give us a call because we got electronic advertising, digital advertising, we got the publication advertising, all kinds of ways to expose your business. Give us a call at 478-464-0074, www.maconblackpages.com.